Hello, welcome to the module 2 of this video tutorial, Rudiments of Music. In this module titled Elements of Music, we are going to talk about melody and harmony. We are going to talk about genre, dynamics and tempo, time signature and rhythm, measures and bars. Then we do the module 2 assignment. Okay, now melody definitions. Melody can be defined as a pleasing succession or arrangement of sounds. It can also be defined as a rhythmically organized sequence of single tones that are related to each other in order to make up a phrase or an idea. It's also a structure with respect to the arrangement of a single note in succession. Now, there are important things that you should note in these definitions. Look at this point. It is a succession of notes, single notes. You see the keyword there, single notes. A succession of sounds, a sequence of single notes. Okay. In the other definition there, it is the leading part or air in a composition with accompaniment. Then a succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence or tune or a horizontally represented aspect of the structure of a piece of music. Now, to make this simple, melody is just a sequence of single notes that produces a sound without being accompanied by any other instrument or voice part. For example, when you have soprano, only the sopranos singing without being accompanied by any instrument or by any other voice part like alto, tenor, bass. I mean, soprano is singing alone, then you say you have a melody. But when you start including other voice parts, for example, alto, tenor, bass, or even the instruments, you say you are now having harmony. You understand? So that is okay. Now that takes us to harmony, the use of simultaneous pitches or chords. You see, now instead of soprano singing alone as is obtainable in melody down there, as you can see down there, like sol, sol, la, mi, fa, re, mi, re, do, ti, do, something like that. But in harmony, instead of soprano singing alone, they are now being accompanied by other parts. For example, that is the soprano line there, and that is alto line, tenor, and bass. So when you have these four parts singing together, you have harmony. But when you have only one part, for example, soprano singing alone, you have melody. Okay. Now, if you look at those definitions there, the use of simultaneous pitches or chords, we'll talk about chords later. See, the use of is the simultaneous progression of chords or notes, a simultaneous combination of tones. Now, the keyword there is the word simultaneous and notes. When you have notes running together simultaneously, that is, at the same time, they are progressing simultaneously in such a way that the sound is pleasing to the ear. That is why you say you have harmony. Okay, now chords. It is a group of typically 3 or more notes sounded together as a basis of harmony. Now, it's a harmonic set of 3 or more notes that is heard as if sounding simultaneously. Now, the important thing to note there is this. There are notes that cannot just work together. For example, look at this. When soprano is sounding sol, these other people are singing mi, then tenor do, and bass do. Now, these 4 notes form a very cordant sound. When you listen to it, it's pleasing to the ear. But when you start editing it, maybe you say, okay, let me change this to maybe fa. Maybe here you have something like re or something else, and these people are still maintaining this. So see that the sound might not be so pleasing to the ear. So when you have a combination of notes moving simultaneously in such a way that the sound is pleasing to the ear, that is when you say you have cordant sounds. You have the right chords. That's the meaning of chords. Okay. Okay. When you have two note chords, they are called dyads, while three note chords are called triads. Okay, now let's talk about pitch. Pitch is the varying height or depth of sound. It's also the position of a note on the musical scale. You know, people mistakenly, most times, people make that mistake of saying that pitch is loudness, the volume of sound. No, pitch has to do with the position of a note on the musical scale. For example, look at this. Okay, let's start from Do. As you sing Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, you see that Do is lower than Re, Re is higher than Do. Okay, look at this. Mi is lower than Fa, Fa is higher than Mi. Then La is higher than So, and So is lower than La, something like that, and so on and so forth. So it increases along that path, increase in pitch. So as you are singing Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, we say you are increasing in pitch. Sometimes you hear people say that someone can sing high-pitched notes. That is, there you start talking about vocal range. Where is the maximum pitch you can get to, and you can no longer sing beyond that? That is your vocal range. Some people can sing beyond this, depending on the key that is being played, and even sing 7 times this. Depending on the key that is being played, of course. So now you should know your vocal range, judging from where you can stop. Okay, maybe subsequent video tutorials we'll talk about vocal range, where we'll do voice training. Okay, now it's important to note that as you're going down this path, you are decreasing in pitch. So pitch is not the loudness, it is not the volume of sound. It is the position of a certain note on the musical scale. Okay, now let's solve those self-check questions. Remember, the answers to these self-check questions are in your training manual. Please, after answering these questions, you can cross-check the answers in the training manual. It's important to do these self-check questions immediately. It's important to do it because it's going to help you in the next topics to come. Okay, now let's talk about genre. A genre is a specific type of music, film, or writing. Like in music, we have different types of genre. We have like musical styles like classicals, we have reggae, we have jazz, we have hip hop, blues, rock, and there are so many of them. Yes. So when you talk about different types of music, we are talking about genre. Okay. Dynamics and tempo. Dynamics normally refers to the volume of a sound or note. Do you see the difference there? Sometimes people mistake dynamics for pitch. When you talk about volume, when you talk about loudness, there you are talking about dynamics. But when you talk about the position of a note on a scale, then you are talking about um, pitch. Okay, now in music, dynamics refers to the volume of sound or notes, and it dictates how you execute an aspect of a given piece, either in a stylistic manner. For example, you could be asked to accent certain notes or sing in a form of staccato or legato, etc. We will talk about these things. It can also affect the velocity at which you render a song. By that I mean tempo. It could change the speed of the song, and sometimes it could also slow it down, like where you have retardando and relatando and the rest of them. Okay, some examples of the common dynamics we see every day are PPP, which is an acronym or the abbreviation for pianissimo. This indicates that you should go extremely soft while singing. Okay, YPP means very soft. PP is pianissimo, then P is soft. That means is soft, but is a little bit louder than PP, while PP is also a little bit louder than PPP. Meaning PPP is the softest, this one is softer, this one is soft. Okay, now MP, mezzo piano. It means half as soft as piano. Okay, we have MF, which is mezzo forte. This mezzo forte means half as loud as forte. While forte indicates loud, means that you should sing loudly. Okay, also FF, which means fortissimo, very loud. It is louder than F forte. This indicates is an indication in a musical piece where you are asked to sing very loudly. Okay, now FFF is fortissimo, meaning extremely loud. It's not actually being used frequently in musical pieces, but in case if you come across it, you should understand what that means. Okay, you have other variations here like SF sforzando, which means that you should force the sound. You have to sound the notes in an abrupt and fierce manner and accent it, and it applies to single notes. When you see fortissimo, it might apply to a wide range of notes, while SF applies to a single and a specified note or chord. Okay, crescendo. Crescendo means that you should gradually increase in volume. People normally make this mistake of singing crescendo as if it's FF, that is fortissimo. No. In fortissimo, you abruptly sound the note, you just jump to the high volume and maintain it until you get to the point where you are asked to do otherwise. But in crescendo, starting from the point, the note where it is applied, you keep increasing the volume until you get to an alteration point where you are asked to do something else. Okay, next up is diminuendo. This is the opposite of crescendo. You are asked to decrease the volume or reduce the volume gradually. Okay, next up there is FP, which is forte piano. Here you are asked to go loud and immediately soft. You hit a note loudly and immediately you go soft again. That's the meaning of forte. As the name implies, forte piano. You can have some variations where they add niente, meaning nothing. For example, they can say uh, that you should apply diminuendo, which means that you should reduce your volume, and put niente, meaning fade to nothing, fade out to nothing. Okay, all right. Take a look at this chart. This should help us have a better understanding of dynamics. Look at this point. You can take a hinge on these 2 points. You see that as you are moving from MF to F to FF and FFF, you see that the velocity is increasing. By that I mean the loudness is increasing. See that MF is your speaking voice, F is louder than speaking voice, FF is speaking loudly, while FFF you are yelling. Okay, MP your speaking voice, but MP and MF is not exactly the same thing. MF is a little bit louder than MP. Then P, you are speaking in a softer manner. PP, almost whispering. Then PPP, whispering. Remember, decrescendo, which is the same thing as diminuendo, means decrease your volume gradually, and it is represented by this sometimes. Represented by this sometimes, you will just see the acronym DIM or DECR or just that. Okay, same thing with crescendo, increase gradually, normally represented by that sign or CRESC. Okay, accent. When you see this sign accent, it means that you should be specific with a certain note. You should stress a note. Stress a note, make it distinctive whenever you see this sign. And it applies to single notes or chords. Unlike this, that is applied across a wide range of notes. Okay, there are so many other types there of dynamics like al niente, meaning to nothing, fade to silence, sometimes written as N. We have calando, we have calmando, becoming calmer, molto. Sometimes you see some composers, instead of saying PP or PPP, they might just say molto piano. Instead of saying pianissimo or pianissimo, molto piano. You understand? Meaning very soft. So whenever you see the word molto, it means very. It can also be applied to forte. You can say molto forte. Okay. Now we also have dal niente, fortissimo piano, in rilievo, and so on and so forth. We have a very long list of dynamics in your training kit manual. Please try as much as possible as you can to go through the training kit manual to learn as much as you can. Okay, now we talk about tempo. Tempo is the overall speed of a piece of music. Now, tempo can be altered with signs. Like we talked about in dynamics, you could change the tempo of a song using things like relatando, which means gradually reducing in speed, so on and so forth. Accelerando increases the speed of a song. Okay, now here we have some examples. Adagio means it should be rather slow. Adagio, at ease. Adagissimo, very, very slow. Now I want you to note something about this. You see the word adagio, at ease, played slowly. Now they use the word adagissimo, very, very slow. I don't know if you can see the relationship between this and that. See? Okay, let's take a look at that. See, they use the word here piano, then pianissimo, and pianissimo. Whenever you come across this word, any word, and they ask simo, this or this simo here means getting softer. You are adding whatever properties that the keyword has, you are increasing that property. Since piano is about getting soft, if you add simo to it, it will mean very soft. You add another simo, you are going extremely soft. You see the application there? For example, here we have adagio, which is play slowly, and now we are talking about adagissimo, which is very slow. So, had it been that we have something like adagissimo, that means it should be slower than adagissimo. Okay, we have other examples there like allegro, allegrissimo, andante, andantino, a tempo, decerendo, declamando, larghissimo, largo, which is slower than adagio. We have moderato, means moderate, lento, which is slow, prestissimo, which is extremely quick, which is also faster than presto, the keyword, rallentando or raw. This is widely used in musical pieces, and rit, which is retardando. It might not be discernible from rallentando. They have almost the same effect. Okay, retardando, that's the abbreviation for retardando, ritenuto, and vives. Okay, now, other important musical terminologies which you should know are DC, da capo, meaning that you should return to the top. After singing a certain verse or a certain song and you come across this, it means go back and repeat the song the second time. Okay? After repeating it, if you come across this keyword, fine, it means the end. Or you come across the keyword coda, coda means that you should, after repeating this, jump forward to the next section. Okay. Now, other examples, DS, da segno, this is a very important one. Means that the performer should repeat the aspect of music that the person just concluded the second time. For example, I'm singing a song and I see this sign, signal. While singing the song, anytime I come across this DS, it means I should jump back to wherever I saw this and sing from that point again to this, then I continue. Okay, now coda means jump forward to the ending passage. Just like we applied it in DC, we can also apply it in DS. Okay, anacrosis. Anacrosis, when you see some musical pieces, you see that some things are missing. You might see something like this, where you have nothing there, you have nothing there, you probably have the sole note here. Then you said, when you come across such, you say that we have an acrosis. Okay, now let's solve the self-check questions shown below. Which of these is an example of music genre? Jazz, mezzoforte, and acrosis? Which of the following can be classified as tempo? Is it rallentando, diminuendo, or da segno? What determines the overall speed of a musical piece? Is it dynamics? Is it time signature? Is it tempo? MP is louder than MF. True or false? The sign alpine indicates, does it indicate that you should continue? Does it indicate that you should end a musical piece or coda? Okay, remember, after the self-check questions, go and cross-check your answers at the training manual kit. Then you continue with the next uh, section. Okay, now let's talk about time signature and reading. Time signature defines the meter of music. It is marked off in uniform sections called bars or measures. It establishes the number of beats in each bar or in each measure. So, to make it simple, time signature is the number of beats, the maximum number of beats that we can have in a bar. The indicator of the maximum number of beats we can have in a bar. Remember, another name for bar is measure. So now we have some examples here, like 3/4 time signature, 2/4 time signature, and 4/4 time signature. These are the simple time signatures we see every day in musical pieces. Now, when you see 3/4 time signatures, it means that you can have the numerator there. Remember, we pronounce this as 3/4, 2/4, 4/4. You don't say 3/4. You don't say 2/4. You don't say 4/4. It's 3/4, 2/4, 4/4. Okay, now the number at the top indicates the maximum number of beats you can have in a bar. For example, look at this. We can have one here, one there, and one here. 3. Again, we can have one here, and one there. 3. We close the bar. Then one here, one there, one there. We close the bar. So this is an example of a 3/4 time signature piece. For example, if you see a musical piece where the time signature is not indicated, you see you can actually denote or find out the time signature from what you can see in the bar. Look at this. There's one common thing here. If you look carefully, you see that in each bar you have two colons. You have two colons there. You have two colons. So that means in any bar, you count the number of colons you see there, add 1 to it, that becomes your numerator. 3. You see, we have 1, 2. Then I add 1 to whatever number I've counted, which is total 3. Once you know the numerator, we know that most times we are singing 4. 4 will be the denominator most times. So we have 3, 4. Had it been I have only 1 colon here, I could have said, okay, I have 1, I add another 1 to it, meaning total 2, then I could say that the piece is a 2/4 time signature. But the example we have here is a 3/4 time signature sheet. Okay. Now we talk about 6/8 and 12/8. These are compound time signatures, where in each bar here, in each bar you have 6 beats, and there in each bar you have 12 beats. Now someone might ask, what does this indicate? For example, here we have 3/4, 2/4, 4/4, and here we are having 6/8 and 12/8. Why did the denominator change? Now the denominator there indicates the value of each beat in a bar. When we say beats, for example, here we say 3/4 means you can have 3 beats in a bar, which is 1, 2, 3. Now the denominator tells you the actual value that a bit should be. Is it going to be a brief? Is it going to be a quiver? Something like that. So this indicates the value of each bit. Okay. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, in subsequent video tutorials, when we start talking about staff notation, we will talk about this, because by then we would have gotten conversant with staff notes. Okay, now 6 8 time signature and 12 8 time signature, these are compound time signatures, and this is the value of each note in a bar. You should know that the beat is a steady pulse, or you can say a beat is when you tap your feet or your toes on the floor while singing. Then you are counting the beats. Okay, now measure some bars. A measure is also known as bar. It is the period of a musical piece that encompasses a complete cycle of time signature. Remember what we said before, that time signature indicates the number of beats that will complete a bar. So when you have a bar, you say that you have had a complete cycle of the time signature. So a bar can be defined as a complete cycle of the indicated time signature. For example, the first example we have up there is 2/4 time signature. Now, see, we have one beat there and one beat here. After counting the 2 beats, what do we do next? We close. We have completed one bar. We have completed one measure. Then we start again. 1, 2. We close. That's the second bar. Then 1, 2, we close. That's the third bar. Okay, the same thing is applicable down there. 3/4 time signature. 1, 2, 3. We close the bar. 1, 2, 3. We close the bar. 1, 2, and 3. We close the bar. Okay, same thing is applicable here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We close the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. We close the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. We close the bar. Now one might ask, what is this thing doing here? What is this? What is this? This is not a colon, right? Okay, now some composers use this to indicate the middle colon in 4/4 and 6/8 time signatures. Please, whenever you come across this, just treat it the same way you treat a colon. It means a separator between 2 bits, just like the colons. Okay, remember that when you count the colons 1, 2, 3 and add 1 to it, it will give you the numerator of the time signature. From there you can say, okay, this is a 4/4 time signature piece. Okay, now another example, 6/8. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that leads us to the next section. Let's solve some self-check questions. Remember, please, after solving these questions, cross-check them in your training kit manual and score yourself. If you don't do well, maybe you should repeat this section again. Okay, at this point I expect that you pause the video so that you can answer the questions before proceeding to the next section. Okay, after you're done with that, please do the module 2 assignment. Now, this assignment is meant to be done by you and submitted to your choir master or anyone else that can be able to mark and rate your answers appropriately. Please make sure you do this assignment before jumping to the next module. At this point, I expect that you pause the video and take your time to solve the assignments before going over to module 3 of this video tutorial. Once more, welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Ezurike Chinedu. Thank you.